like for today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, the post-conference.
A wonderful day, PSQ Nation. Welcome to the day 4 of the second PSQ Quality Leaders Bootcamp. And I am your host for today. Our main host, Doc Narro, is just on a special event, on a different event. So, you know, us as quality practitioners, we are so busy doing a lot of things. So thank you so much for being with us on the day 4 of our Quality Leaders Bootcamp. And we are so lucky that we are able to invite one of the key leaders of Unilab. And we have right now also the lead of the Kaizen Hub, one of the PSQ Technical Hubs. Please welcome Jose Luis Narvaez, or Sergio for short. He's the Director for Manufacturing in Unilab. Hi, Sergio. How are you?
Hi, doing good here.
That's amazing. What have you been doing, Sergio, for the past couple of months?
Oh, very busy. The life in manufacturing is always challenging and full of activities. So we're very busy with the routine production, and then also making sure that all our employees are safe given this pandemic.
That's good. It's good to hear that, Sergio. But during the pandemic, by the way, I just wanna have a view in terms of how does it look like in terms of running a manufacturing, like in 2021, 2020, 2021. How difficult was it?
I think the most difficult part was when the pandemic started because nobody knew what to do, right? We're all grasping for the science, on how to manage it in terms of the context of our companies, diba? So, um, but now we understand more about the virus, and for example, in our company, we are 100%, almost 100% vaccinated. So now it's easier. We can say it's becoming more normal now, going back to normal.
That's good. It's good to hear that coming from you, Sergio, because I can imagine and I could imagine, you know, how hard was it like for the past couple of years, and good thing now, especially in the manufacturing industry, right? Because it's totally different with the industry where I'm coming from, where we can do the work from home. And I know from manufacturing, we cannot do that. We need to really go to the site, and we have to adhere to the different protocols or the different laws of the land. So thank you so much for that, Sergio. By the way, to all of our audience for tonight, please share our contents in your social media accounts. I know that you'll be hearing more a lot of PSQ in the next coming weeks. I mean, in next coming weeks and next coming days, in next coming months. And I would invite you, by the way, to the National Quality Forum in sometime in October. Okay, so let me go back to our discussion, Sergio. I know, hopefully, we are entering what we call the post-pandemic stage, right? What do you think? I mean, from Unilab perspective, what do you think are the survival methodologies or strategies that your organization can implement, or maybe have implemented for the past couple of months to survive or to thrive in this new normal or the newest normal?
Yeah. As I mentioned a while ago, during the early stages of this pandemic, when no one knew yet what to do, there was no medicine, there was no vaccine yet. Even the mechanism of viral infection was unknown to us, right? And our medical frontliners were dying left, right, and center. That was the first hurdle. It was extremely difficult for any organization because of this fear factor, right? So assuring our employees that we will get through all of these unknowns was crucial. The morale boost, I think, in our case, came in the form of extra benefits, medical and health support that even extended to each employee's immediate household. I think that's very important. Extending the health support to the immediate household. And of course, establishing mental wellness campaigns or programs.
A lot of things that happened, and a lot of things that I mean, as part of the leadership team, Sergio, you did a lot of things so that we can continue the operations. At the same time, we also look at the welfare of our people. It's a good thing that hear from you, Sergio, that we're able to implement some of the things from well-being perspective, or from mental health perspective, from the well-being of our employees, because I believe it really went to the roof during the pandemic, and it looks like it's getting better this year, especially this month, by the way. So this is the celebration of the mental health. So I think this is one of the areas wherein we need to look at. I mean, us as not just an organization, but us personally, we need to look at ourselves, because looking at the overall well-being of the person, this is one of the things that we need to be very critical at. Okay, and I'm sure from manufacturing perspective, Sergio, we've also seen a lot of the implementation of the Industry 4.0 technologies, and maybe the newer technologies, the emerging technologies, because I've seen that in other organizations as well. And they were saying, and then based on my research as well, that even prior to the pandemic, there's actually a lot of companies from around the globe, organizations here in the Philippines, that started their journey from Industry 4.0 perspective. And during the pandemic, it actually accelerated. The implementation accelerated, and which is a good thing, so that we can not just abide with the protocols, and then the social distancing and all of that, but also we're able to at least gain a lot of efficiencies on the processes that we're performing, and in terms of the results or the products that we are releasing in the market. And having said that, Sergio, from your organization perspective, what are the challenges, or maybe the struggles, in terms of implementing this type of technologies, or maybe the Industry 4.0 technologies, and how are you able to overcome some of these challenges?
Yeah, I think there are a couple. So first one is new employee skill sets are required for any sector to adapt to the fourth industrial revolution. The skills gap, I think, is a major problem. So skills should be defined and taught based on the long-term strategic needs of each company. And then on the subject of Kaizen, because I'm now heading the Kaizen Hub, I think employees should also be provided with basic knowledge on the technology applications under the fourth industrial revolution. For example, how would someone be able to think of a Kaizen suggestion or initiative about, let's say, IoT, if they don't understand what IoT is? And then I think we should also look at traditional organizational paradigms, because that might be another weak spot. For example, I think many Philippine companies still look at IT as an administrative job to outsource. Companies must be more IT savvy to be successful. I think integration of IT and existing work processes could be another key to success.
I believe that's good, Sergio, in terms of really educating our people, all of the employees, in terms of these emerging technologies, because there's a lot of definitions out there. And in one of the articles that I published, that I shared in some of the international journals, it's regarding the digital transformation, and a lot of confusion happens on, even just for the definition of digitization, digitalization, digital transformation, what it's all about. It's because if you are speaking different language in the organization, the more that it will be difficult for us to implement all of these things. And it's a good thing hearing from you, Sergio, that you subjected the employees in terms of educating them, training them in terms of the different technologies. What are the capabilities of these technologies? Are these the right technologies to solve the problems that we have in our operations area, in our manufacturing areas? I believe it's a great thing. Okay, and then from a lot of companies as well, Sergio, you've seen a lot of companies have died for the past years because of the negative impact of the pandemic. So if you would be seeing that they were not able to sustain their business in the long run, and I believe most of the companies, that's a key thing that we need to look at. How can we sustain the success that we've had in the past? Because it's not just about maintaining or sustaining that success in the short term, but really how can we ensure that we are future-proofing our organization in the long run? From your from Unilab perspective, in the company that you're connected with, Sergio, aside from the ones that you mentioned earlier, are there any other like strategies or ways that your organization has been doing for quite some time, or maybe looking forward to, so that you can ensure that you can future proof the organization so that you can sustain that in the long run?
Yeah, actually, Doc Ray, apologies as I'm not in the position to answer that question officially. But from a personal and general standpoint, I believe all organizations should take business continuity planning seriously. And then when we do it, we should be mindful not to end up with just a mere checklist, right? That is not assessed for effectiveness. I think BCP metrics should be developed. Yeah.
And that's good. That not just metrics, or I mean, not just checklist, not just metrics, but it's not just for compliance purposes, but we really are doing it like internally, so that we can ensure the success of the organization in the long run. And in terms of one of the hot topics that I've seen so far, Sergio, for the past years, even for 2016, when we had our National Quality Forum, our key theme is all about sustainability. It's all about caring for the environment. It's all about caring for our world. From Unilab perspective, I just want to know, or maybe from you personally, Sergio, how how are you responding to the call to action movements on environmental issues? Like, say, for instance, we're talking about the carbon footprint reduction or the community impact assessment of our industry to the community. So maybe if you can share something on that area, Sergio.
Yeah, first of all, we have very stringent processes in place to ensure that we comply with all environmental laws and regulations. We are also pursuing opportunities for green energy sources like solar power. Other projects, which I will not be able to enumerate one by one, are also in the works now.
Thank you so much for that, Sergio. And also just want to share to our audience and to Sergio that, JG, one of the trustees as well of PSQ, so we had this opportunity to sit down as part of the panel of the students of the Far Eastern University of FEU. They presented different business ideas, and it's a good thing that most of them are actually already focusing on social impact. They're already focusing on the sustainability part of the business. So great job. I believe more and more organizations, even universities or the young ones, are already embracing the concept of sustainability. So that's a good thing. So let me, maybe right now, I want to talk about, Sergio, the ways of working. And most likely, I mean, from manufacturing perspective, as you would, as you've mentioned earlier, Sergio, that employees would really want to go to I mean, on site. I just want to. I'm just curious in terms of how does it work? By the way, Sergio, will there be like a hybrid model as well in the manufacturing industry, or will it work as well in your industry?
Yeah, actually, from personal experience, since the pandemic started, I never had a day of work from home. For manufacturing companies with big machines to operate like us in the pharma industry, the work from home option is not really 100% applicable. So I think to standardize would be a limiting factor for certain industries like ours. So each company should probably assess and apply the best work arrangement that is effective and efficient for their respective organizational context and based on their strategic challenges as well.
I can understand that, Sergio. So I can say that, a lot of employees have been complaining, like going back to the office, but, looking at the industry, like say, for instance, in your industry, Sergio, that, you don't have that option. Yeah. You really have to go to on-site. So that's something that, a lot of our audience right now, that's something you should be grateful for. And if your industry if your industry has that privilege to do that work from home, work from anywhere, so be very grateful for that. Okay. With all of the things that we've talked about, Sergio, with the discussions on sustainability, Industry 4.0, the work arrangement or the ways of working, and the things that you've implemented in your organization to keep it running. In terms of the regulations or maybe the support from the government that do you think can help us? Is there anything that maybe a key ask from our government, any help from the government to a manufacturing industry so that it will continue to survive in the long run?
Yeah, I think that's a tricky question, Doc Rey. If we're talking about, for example, if we're talking about productivity or maybe, let's say, the quality of life of the workforce and balancing this, right? I think that's more of, it sounds more like a function of management to me instead of the government. So I don't really know what we should be asking from the government, actually, if management practices are poor in the first place, right? Because whatever government does will be undermined by the local toxic culture brought by the poor traditional management practices.
Actually love that answer, Sergio. Coming from Unilab, like the first organization that won the Philippine Quality Award Level 4. So I believe that's a great answer. We usually started definitely internally. We started with us as leaders in the organization. We set the culture, and everything will follow. Any support coming from the government will be appreciated. So thank you for actually that's a great reminder rather than like hearing a lot of complaints coming from companies. But I believe there's also this thing that we need to really revisit our core, look at our core, and make it as robust as possible. Our leadership, our processes, because these are for our employees. And maybe this question, Sergio, is from consumers' perspective. Do you think that spending patterns of consumers have changed, maybe for the past couple of months, in terms of brand usability and functionality or sustainability? What are now the considerations of the consumers in order to buy a product or pay for the services that are available? Maybe the considerations of us as consumers, has it changed for the past couple of months?
Yeah. Actually, currently in the Philippines, I think spending is still done from an economical standpoint, still more than anything else. Certain consumers, probably from the class A and B, might have picked up habit of looking at, for example, maybe looking at sustainability features of products, like do they use biodegradable packaging material, or do they use single-use plastic, or even is it grown organically, right? But they are still probably in the minority. One trend I have noticed, though, not only in the past couple of months, but actually even a few years back, right, is that consumers are becoming more and more aware of the power of social media and how they can use it to either support or complain about a product or service. So, and if the company is not careful, a single Facebook post nowadays can cause irreparable damage to your brand or company.
I would agree with that, Sergio. I've seen a lot of posts. If there's a negative post, definitely that will spread to a lot of the different Facebook groups, and even in the LinkedIn, in a lot of social media accounts, and that's also good. That's actually a good trend, Sergio. And even last month, I was able to post this in Facebook. In LinkedIn, like a poll survey asking the audience, asking my networks. Although my networks are from not just from the Philippines, but from around the globe. My question was, what's your consideration in terms of buying a specific product? And most of them are actually looking for the quality of the product, not just the pricing. But with the economic condition of our country, but maybe majority of our people will still definitely look at the price as one of the decision indicators before they purchase a specific product. And that's something that maybe the younger ones, the Gen Zers, the millennials, are considering maybe differently at this point. I hope that will be the trend, like in the next couple of years. And maybe there will be also like an innovation when it comes to pricing, that we can lower down the cost, we can lower down the pricing, and then they're still with quality. Okay, but maybe at this point, Sergio, this has been a great discussion. Hearing like a lot of insights coming from you. Maybe if there are also a lot of people who are watching us right now who are aspiring to becoming a quality practitioner. Maybe some of the people will say, how to be you po. Maybe that specific term, Sergio, right? Maybe you've heard that for countless times in the social media space, and maybe from your friends. Maybe an advice, maybe a piece of advice coming from you, Sergio. How can they become a successful or maybe an effective quality practitioners to those who are practicing quality, and for those ones who just have graduated in college or still studying, who are aspiring for a quality role in the future? Maybe what is that piece of advice that you can pieces of advice that you can share?
Yeah, that's another tricky one, Doc Ray. Yeah, but I think no one starts naman knowing everything, right? So I think it's more of experience than anything else, right? If you are lucky and find a good company to work with, right, and a company that really supports quality, that's the best environment to work in. Yeah.
That's good. Good environment. Definitely, those are a very good training ground. All right, maybe do you have any final message to our viewers, to our audience right now, Sergio?
Yeah, thank you, Doc Ray, for inviting me for this event, for this interview. Yeah, I just wish everyone success in their individual or company pursuit for quality. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sergio. And that's Sergio of Unilab, and he is the lead of our Kaizen Hub. And you'll be seeing us more in terms of the different projects, maybe that we can do from Kaizen Hub perspective. So we'll do more meetings like in the next couple of months to see what are the programs, the projects that we can focus more on. And I believe that we are wrapping up our session for today. And this is your host, the president of the Philippine Society for Equality, Rey Fremista. And I want to see you on the last day of our PSQ Quality Leaders Bootcamp tomorrow at 5 p.m. So by the way, you will be getting the certificate if you attend all of the sessions, and you will be seeing like a QR code at the end of our session so that you can respond to the surveys. And I want to say again, thank you so much to our dear speaker. We want to see you more, Sergio, in the next couple of months. We'll be sharing more to the world. Thank you so much, PSQ Nation. PSQ Nation, have a great day and stay safe.